Well, hello again. I am back today to do a more targeted video on covering imperfections. And you guys all know that I'm always talking about my dark under eye circles, but also acne scarring and, you know, that post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation that I'm always going on about. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I got this Glossier Futuredew. It's kind of like an iridescent packaging, so it's hard to see. Very popular product, and it's oil-based, and it's an oil serum hybrid. Now, for me personally, I don't necessarily want to put this all over my face. I'm going to see if I could do it in targeted areas. Let's see. Ooh. All right, so it's kind of, I think I pumped out a lot, but you can see it's kind of like this golden sheen here that it has. And I'm just going to kind of mix it up. I shook it, but it might not be. Let's see. Okay, so I got a little bit on my finger, and of course, as you can imagine, it's pretty oily, but I'm gonna put it like up in targeted areas, like in highlight areas, and I wanna see how this is underneath my makeup today, if it will kind of show through and make everything even more supple, because you know that's my favorite. Okay, got a little bit more there, like around the temples too, maybe a little bit above the brow, so I don't wanna get like too crazy. You know, this is my first time trying it, so I want to see how it is. I wasn't sure how it would be all over the face because you guys know that I love to put oil everywhere, but okay. All right, so we'll just leave it targeted in those areas. I'm going to get started with my color corrector. I use Mango. I always start on my under eyes, and I've got my smudge brush. So I will just go on with getting ready. So anyway, so today I wanted to focus on covering imperfections because I feel like this makeup is just, this cream makeup, Seint cream makeup is so amazing at that. Not only the 3D foundation, but also the Demi foundation. And one thing that I have been pleasantly surprised to see is, you know, because obviously I've been using this Seint makeup for over a year. And I just recently, a couple of months ago, decided to become a Seint artist because I love it so much, and I'm an esthetician, so I love sharing things that work, you know, with other people, and it's just very rewarding to me. So now that I've been doing this for a couple of months, and I've had customers that have been trying this makeup, I can see firsthand that it's not just me that is having this great experience with this makeup, which I'm very happy to report. I'm gonna go into my main shade Candlelit, which is gonna go over my corrector, so I don't have that orange hue anymore, because the Mango is just there just to color correct the blue and the purple under my eyes. So anyway, another thing that I'm happy to report is that it's not just mature skin that I'm seeing how well this makeup works with, you know, like 20-somethings and 30-somethings. And I always say, you know, because now that I have maturing skin, I see like the difference in texture and whatnot. I always remember, like when I was in my 20s, my 30s, I mean, you could pretty much like put anything on your face. But what's nice is that this texture of makeup, the cream makeup, is just working so well even for those skin types, you know, that are pumped full of collagen, and you know, so it doesn't, you know, it's basically like whatever kind of finish you want. If you want something more full coverage, if you want something really light, you could achieve it with this. So I have been very pleasantly surprised with that. I've kind of have like an expansion of, you know, the people that are really enjoying this more than I thought I would. And of course, there's certain things that are, you know, they spans any age. Dark circles you could have. I feel like, you know, certain things, you know, they get more pronounced as we get older. But even, you know, in your 20s and your 30s and whatnot, you still have, you know, have acne scars. You can have, you know, dark circles and all that. So, yeah, so I love that this makeup, the 3D and the Demi line, also takes care of all of these issues without making everything look cakey. I feel like most people don't really want the cake face, you know? So, I mean, full coverage and cakey is two totally different things. So now I am going to hone in on here. So I think what I'm going to do is today I'm just gonna do like with the 3D foundation, just to show you how well that it covers. And also I could even do the Mango underneath, just because some of these are like a little bit more on the purple side, because that's what happens with pimples, is it's not necessarily red unless it's a brand new pimple that's angry and fiery, you know, that super bright red. Then they start to kind of go purpley, kind of like a bruise. And that means that there's blue in it if there's purple, so orange works really well. Okay, so let's just say right here, this one is pretty stark. So I am just gonna try a little dot on here. That's the Mango. And then this one is more of an acne scar, like an old acne scar. And then a little bit here. On this side, this is actually my better side right now. So I just have like a couple little areas, nothing too crazy here, so just like a couple dots. So let's see how this works out, because this is, even though this is the 3D foundation, the 3D foundation is, I always say this is like makeup artist makeup because of the pans and also how pigmented everything is. So this is way more pigmented than more pigmented than your usual water-based foundation, of course. You know, so water-based foundations I keep hearing are like anywhere from 18 to 20% pigmentation, and this particular Seint cream makeup is like 80% pigmentation, which is why it's so concentrated and why these tins last so long, because you literally just need a dot. Now I'm going to start with my main foundation, and for me it's Candlelit. Like I said, I love using the detail brush to put on my foundation. This is one of the brushes that I always recommend to customers. Now, my palette, I said this before in another video too, is not going to be your palette. My palette is customized to me, obviously. So when I get a request for a color match from someone, they send me a makeup-free selfie, and all of that information is down below in my links. You know, you could look in my link tree, and everything is there. Everything is like the little tabs, and you could find it easily. And it's just a short questionnaire because I want to know what you want out of your makeup, what the finish is, what kind of skin you have, what problems, issues that you want to cover up, and all that. And that's why, you know, your palette is going to look completely different, and it's going to be customized to your skin tone. Okay, so anyway. Okay, so this is my Candlelit. And what I usually do is I concentrate it more on my cheeks. And anything that's left on my brush, then I start to kind of migrate and move it all over. And on my forehead, I barely put anything because then I'm going to do like a little bit of a highlight, and then it mixes with my bronzer. I also put the main shade on my lids to prime, and I do use an eyeshadow primer underneath. Today I used one from CoverGirl. I'll link it down below. It's just literally like one of the, you know, drugstore. It's like in a white tube. I think I left it in the bathroom, but I'll link it down below. And I'm very happy to report that CoverGirl is cruelty-free now, which is one of the things I try so hard to always abide by. Use my Vanilla Dust setting powder with my wash brush, and I just use this just to kind of wash it over the lids. I also use the powder brush sometimes, but this is a little extra fluffy, so I just kind of fluff it out. And me personally, that's the only area that I powder usually, but you could do whatever you want. You know, some people have different skin types, a little oilier, whatever, and you want, or if you want like more of a matte look, you could totally use a little bit of powder over the cream. But this cream makeup, again, happy to report, stays put, you know. So I personally don't have, I just use setting spray at the end. I like a dewy finish, so I use the Seint setting spray, but there are many different setting sprays that you could use depending on what kind of finish that you want, and we could go over all that stuff. Now what I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Usually I would do like an eye look. I'm actually going to just keep it really simple today, and I'm gonna show you what I do as an eye look with the creams. And it doesn't crease or anything because I use such a light layer. But the first thing that I do is I'm going to brighten under my eye with my pop color, which is, for me, is Versailles. And this I don't put straight over, I've talked about this like millions of times in my other videos, right on the soft tissue because that could enhance texture. We always start like on the bone. So I personally like to do kind of like, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a V shape, you know, like a check mark maybe. And I literally just did one tap, and that's how much stuff is deposited here, how much product stuff. So anyway, so then what I do, because now it's empty out from the brush, I'm just going to migrate this up onto the tissue. So any trace elements, that's what's going to go up onto the eye bag. So then it won't accentuate any texture. Also, please excuse my voice. I ended up having laryngitis. Oh my God, it was horrible. It was just from the cold where, you know, we had that super cold blast. Oh my goodness. And it wasn't necessarily that I was sick. The holidays and stuff like that, talking so much, and, you know, I'm a bit loud, and my family is a bit loud. So, you know, just everything together just ended up culminating in me losing my voice for a couple of days. So it's still a little bit raspy. So it's kind of funny. All right, so now let's go into the other side. So I will just tap one time into that color, and I'm going to start building this up on my zygomatic bone here. And then this is the tissue that I'm going to migrate this up. I do this all the time in my videos, but just to showcase that this is actually very effective to not like show excess texture, you know, like in maturing maturing skin, you know, that could definitely happen very, very quickly with us. So this, you just kind of sweep it a little bit and it just leaves like such a light layer of brightening there like that. I think the acne scars look pretty good actually. Yeah. Even with like the spotlight like right on me, you know, not bad, not bad. And another thing that I like to do is when I remove excess, I use my 3D brush, you know, because I really like this dome shape. But you could even do it like with, you know, like if you were to have only one brush or two brushes. I always recommend two brushes. These are the two starter brushes. This is what I started out with and I love these. And I'm going to use this next, the blush and bronzer. But this one I love for, you know, putting on the foundation. It's got the smaller side. You could even use this, you know, to pick up any excess. Like once it's been emptied out from product, it'll pick up anything if it was a little bit too much on your skin. You could even use the other side. And it's not actually that awkward. I mean, even though it has like this kind of oblong shape, you could like get it in there and pick up like any excess that might be around here. Now I'm going to do the blush and bronzer. So what's really nice about this stuff too, and I've said it a million times in my other videos as well, is it's completely customizable, and depending on what kind of look that you want to get, if you want a little bit more brightening here, there's ways that you could do it even with mature skin. There's different techniques and stuff that you could do to tweak things. There's a lot of people, a lot of artists and customers that I've seen that like to put on their blush and bronzer first and then do the brightening. I like to do the brightening first because I like to bring warmth up to my temples and have a little bit of brightness, but it's not so stark. For me personally, I like the warmth. So here is my usual concoction where I swirl into my Bella bronzer and the two illuminators on either side. I have Glow Illuminator and Angel Illuminator and Bella in the middle. And I just placed it and then did like a sweeping. You know, so this brush works so well for that because when you sweep it, it's so flexible and fluffy that it literally just deposits such a sun-kissed warmth to the skin, which is my favorite. And you could also use the Bella bronzer by itself and it'll give you more of a matte finish and you don't have to do the glowy bronze, but I like the glowy bronze. But which is why I mix it with the illuminator. And then underneath, I'll go under the chin because I don't use contour every day. Today, I decided to forego the contour. I just wanted a little bit of warmth and some blush. So on a daily basis too, since for work, sometimes I'll do that too. It really is, depends on what you feel like. But, you know, some people are super into the contour. I like that even if you don't necessarily use the contour, you could still get like this beautiful three-dimensional look because, you know, you don't have just like one flat, you know, like one plain, one dimension because that's not what our features look like anyway. And it's nice that you don't necessarily have to use the contour for that. Now I'm going to show you what I do for the eyes when I only want to use the creams and I don't want to use eyeshadow and I just want like a subtle wash of color, and this could definitely work with the creams because if you put them thin enough, they won't crease, especially if you have like the eye primer underneath. So I use the blur brush for this. And it's got like this super fluffy end right here that works really well, manipulating the color and getting a light wash on your eyelids. I love to use the suede lip liner for this. And even though it's a lip liner, it's this one right here. Even though it's a lip liner, it is so dense and it's kind of almost like a bronzy color. You could even use it as a bronzer. I've done that before too. Like my skin is light enough that actually works really well. But what I do is I'll grab a little bit on my bright brush here and then just start to deposit it on my crease and just do like very soft wispy motions, and it'll kind of warm everything up very, very lightly so you don't have thick cream on. It's literally just a wash. So a little bit more on that bright brush and the fluffy side, and then just start to warm it up a little bit more. This is very, very quick because that's all I'll do with that. Then I'll move on a quick dip into my Bella bronzer. You could even do heat waves with this. It'll give you more of a reddish undertone. And here's the Bella. And you can see it's a little bit deeper. And then just, it's very feather light strokes. So it deposits the cream very, very thin. So you don't have any fears that you'll have any creasing later. And it's so pigmented that these sheer washes actually deposit enough color to show up as a little bit of warmth in the crease. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is my blush on my cheeks. I'm going to use Frenchie. This is a nice middle of the road peachy blush. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the 3D brush, and I love this like bunny tail end for that. And I'll just deposit the color right here, and you can see it's like very peachy. and start to blend this out. And now whatever is left on the brush, I literally pounce on the outsides of my eyes. And it is such like a sheer wash of peach. Just like right there. And it marries everything together. And it's like this little, you know, like kind of a monochromatic look. And like I said, it's so sheerly placed that it will not crease throughout the day. And then what I like to do, because I tend to go a little overboard with my blush because I just love the color, but you know, my skin is a little bit on the light side. So I go with the other side of the 3D brush and just kind of blur any edges, and I might have like a little bit too harsh. And then I could also take my 3D brush, which is what had the foundation on, and just kind of pounce over, and it'll kind of blur everything together like so. I think the Glossier underneath did a pretty good job like keeping the glow. This cream makeup already gives you like that dewy glow, but it's really nice that I feel like it punched it up a little bit, which I love. And yeah, I think the finish looks like really nice, and I feel like the acne scars are looking pretty good as well, that I put the mango underneath. Usually I'll do like the demi on top. I wanted to try today with just the 3D foundation and see how it would be if I just did with the mango underneath, and it looks like it's holding up pretty well. Because the demi I have done, there's videos on here too where I showcase the demi and how to pinpoint, spot correct at the end of your makeup application with your 3D. And that also works beautifully, but I'm liking it. I just did do a quick eye look. I actually am going to do that as a separate video, and you'll see that on here soon. But before I finish off everything, I wanted to, I have my other palette here. One thing that I've been doing for lips, because you know that I have been loving that Royal lip gloss and Black Cherry. This here is actually R7 from the Demi line, and it is, the Demi line is a corrector line, and you could also do Dimension with it. You could use that as a blush, but some of these demi colors you could use as a lip color. So some of them are not one-trick ponies, which I love, and I feel like because they're wax-based, they stay so much better, and it looks like more of a matte finish, but it's not drying. It doesn't feel drying at all, the way that they sit on the lips. So what I've been doing is I'll have a little bit of a balm. Sorry, I'm just stirring myself out here a little bit, my goodness. Okay, so yeah, so just put like a straight balm on here. I actually have it. This one is also from the Demi line. This is just, it's like a chapstick. And you could just kind of put a little bit of that on. And then as for the R7, go right into it. And you'll see like it's pretty pigmented, but it leaves like a wash of color. And just tap it. And it is so cute. And you could do it as sheer or as heavy as you want. And then you could even mix it. Especially with maturing lips, you know, you could feel like if you had like some lines or crepiness, this particular formula, because it's wax based, and the Demi line, because of, you know, what it was intended for, and you could use it as a blush, it smooths out the lips. It kind of just sits on top, and it's like this really nice, like kind of like a matte layer, like a veil, like over the lips. You could obviously supplement and put some gloss on top, or you know, a little bit more of the balm, but I just think it's like so cute, even just like this. Okay, so I also just put on some mascara, which is my favorite, the Clio Kill Lash, and I'll link it down below. I actually just got this on Amazon. It's a Korean brand, and it's a tubing mascara, and I love it, especially for during the week, because it's so easy to wash off, and I just use my cleansing balm and my washcloth, and it just literally just slips right off of the lashes. It's so awesome. So again, thank you for joining me and subscribing and watching my content. I am very honored that you're enjoying my material, and all of my links and everything is down below. So reach out, leave a comment, any questions that you have of, you know, what I was talking about today with like color correction and whatnot. And on my link tree, you'll see it'll bring you up to my link tree, and it has like all the different tabs. There's the, you know, the shopping link for direct shopping for the Seint makeup, and then there is the questionnaire, the jot form, which where it says get a color match. Click on that, and then it'll go into that area, and it's a short questionnaire for me to get to know what's going on with your skin, what you want out of your makeup, what you need help with, what you want to cover, whatever finish you want. So you'll be able to communicate that with me there. And also there's a direct email link on there too, on my link tree. I just put it up so you could even directly message me before you do any of that if you had any questions and you wanted to do it privately and not necessarily leave a comment. That you could totally do that too. So I just realized that was a feature on there, so that will be very helpful. I'm just really happy about the response that I've gotten from my new customers that have tried this makeup. I already knew that I loved it, but it's really nice to hear that feedback from people that are echoing my sentiments. So I'm really excited about that. As I said before too, I do concentrate on mature skin, but I'm also surprised by the feedback that I've gotten from my younger clients, and they're, 20s, 30s, and I was like, man, so okay, they really love it too. The finish of it and the feel, and, looks like skin. So that has been really nice to hear and to know that it's actually, I have more of an expansive group of people that are benefiting from this cream makeup and my knowledge, so thank you very much. It is very rewarding to me, which is why I even got into skincare in the first place, and why I really like to help out and troubleshoot with clients and customers. Once again, have a great day, a wonderful evening, whenever you happen to be watching this, and I will see you again next time.